Hey guys, you're here with Goo-Ga TV, but today we're going to be a little bit serious.
Are we putting this on Goo-Ga?
What?
Are we gonna put this on Goo-Ga?
Oh, we should.
Maybe.
It's too scary. So this is something that Nora and I came up with.
Like just now.
Just like sitting outside, it just like rushed to us, and it's really creepy. So, you want to start like how we just did?
Okay, yeah. So, every generation or every century or whatever, the world starts over basically, and we have a new level of the game. And so, every game is like the big thing that we have to deal with so that the world doesn't end. So ours this time is probably climate change.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to beat climate change in order to move on to the next level and have our perfect lives where we're able to be like middle-aged and old people.
So like our parents like had their own challenge, and once they defeated the challenge, once they defeated the game, they got to forget all about it and have these fake memories. So like my mom, who has like all these fun party memories of the 80s, never actually happened. That's just, she agreed to have that because once you complete the game, then you get to have like kids, and then you rely on them to complete their game. So
or maybe they don't even have to forget about it, because that's why we're able to, almost everyone is able to romanticize their past so easily. Like when you think about your childhood, you think about how you only think about the really good parts. You don't remember all the bad things that happen.
But they like had their own things. So like things your parents tell you, like advice, are just clues to how to complete the game in this life. So let's say like 2000 is where our new game started, and we were born into it, and our parents had their own, so they're leaving this up to this challenge up to us.
That's why older people are always trying to leave it to the kids, because
they've already done theirs.
Have done theirs, and they want to live their perfect life.
So so once you die in this life and you haven't completed the challenge, you have to go back and do the whole entire life again.
Yeah, if the reason that everybody dies is because the world ends and it's not from like old age, then you have the option of starting the level over.
And then you have to do something different to save the world. And that's what deja vu is remembering the last time you did this, trying to defeat the game. And so little things like, if you, in history class, when they're teaching you things about that happened in the past, they're just clues of how history repeats itself, but none of that stuff actually happened.
Yeah.
It's just clues on how to defeat this life.
And that's why all of the specific things that we learn about terrible things that happened in the past,
like, oh, that's like Donald Trump.
Yeah, and there are so many things that happen now that are parallels to it. It's like it's repeating itself, but it's not actually. It's just giving us clues.
It's just giving us clues to defeat this one.
And then they also tell us like how they beat it the last time, and so that we can know what to do this time to beat the game.
So then once we defeat climate change, let's say, then we forget about how we defeated it, and we just remember having a perfect childhood and stuff. And just how life is just so perfect, just remembering a normal life, and then we get to have kids in the world that we made without climate change, and they'll learn about it, and then their life is going to be something that relates to climate change as their clue.
Yeah, they'll learn about it,
maybe,
or they'll learn about, it might not even be like we learn about the Holocaust, blah 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 blah. It might not even be something that has actually happened before. They'll learn about something that's a clue to
that thing. So they could learn about a big event that actually never happened.
Yeah.
That's relevant to that, and we'll be like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
And like,
because we're helping them and we're telling them our stories, even if they didn't actually happen. So
but we think they did happen because that's a part of the agreement.
Yeah, because that's a part of the agreement. We get to have these new memories.
So then we have this new life, and we are like sit back and we're like encouraging them to help, but really all we remember is like our past like good life, and we leave it to them to change everything, and we give them advice, which are literally just clues. So like, oh, it's so creepy.
Every time you get advice from your parents, it's leading you to the point.
It's subconscious clues.
Yeah, it's subconscious clues to be able to do this big thing. And your parents raise you in a certain way so that you're able to get through what you have to do.
Yeah. So, wait, hold on.
And maybe certain people are chosen to be the ones that help the most, and so they get the best upbringing and they get the
Interesting. Or maybe the people who help the most
advice and stories, so that they end up being the ones that are the leaders of the movement to be that one big thing. And so they get chosen beforehand.
Yeah.
Basically.
So to summarize, the new game starts in 2000. Nora and I were born. We probably lived this before and ended the game. Like, the game was like, oh, we didn't defeat whatever the thing is, so we're going to relive our life. And then we just keep not defeating it. And finally, we're here and we defeat it, right? And our parents have defeated their thing, but they forgot about it. So then we have kids, and then we forget about that, and we just remember the good parts of our childhood. And then we let the kids deal with their own challenge because that's like how older people are, like leaving the kids up to do everything.
What do you think the purpose is of doing the game? Is it like an experiment, or is it like
I think like
simulation, or
it's just making the world, honestly, maybe just to give us things to do.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Like you know what absurdism is? It's basically so it's hard to explain. So absurdism is nothing matters. Nothing that you do ever matters. And so it's better to just like not care.
Nora.
What?
And all the pictures from like our childhood were not real. Our parents' childhood are not real at all.
They've made
That's
all
just
of
the
these
fake memory.
things. Yeah.
And they have like certain objects in their house that give them nostalgia, which that nostalgia is not even real.
Yeah.
It's just like this implanted memory that isn't real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the purpose is. That's really
Basically,
weird.
Okay. If we want to go with the absurdism side, then it's just so there's this play that we talked about in one of my classes that's like this old couple I think it's called Chairs. So they are on stage, it's a play, and they go and they just are talking, and the world is ended. Like, they are the only ones left.
Okay.
And so, but you don't learn about this until later. And so they go and they are bringing chairs onto the stage the entire time. They're just bringing chairs on the stage, and they're talking about how the God is coming, or the chosen one, or whatever is coming to talk to them. And so they're just bringing chairs onto the stage for no reason. It's just, that's what absurdism is. They're doing it for no reason. So they're bringing the chairs onto the stage. And then at the end, they realize that they're so happy that this big God person is coming to see them. They realize that they are never going to be more happy than they are right now. And so they jump out the window and kill themselves because they realize they are never going to be more happy than that. And then the God
that
person,
gives me chills. This is a play?
Yeah, this is absurdism. So the God person shows up, and you find out that he's deaf and mute. So he could never have been, the God person is coming to tell them the meaning of life. And so he's deaf and mute, so he never could have heard what the meaning of life is, and he can never tell them what it is.
What? That's weird.
So we never get to know what the meaning of life is ever, basically.
I have a thought.
Mm-hmm.
What if a part of the challenge is distractions, like the phone?
Yeah.
Is a distraction.
It's a distraction, yeah.
And they're trying to see if we can defeat it. I have more chills.
That gave me so much chills.
It's a distraction to see if we'll be on our phone and be so caught up in the media, and that's what our distraction is in this lifetime.
Yeah.
And the things just keep getting bigger.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even... Yes? We can't even fathom what the next...
Like, you know the This Is America video where they are like doing all the dance crazes, but all of this stuff is burning around them, and then there's like people on their phones, but everything is going crazy. And
all adults invented the phone.
Yeah.
Because
that's why adults have invented it.
Because they are told to, because
it's like mini games within the big game.
Yeah, the adults are the ones who subconsciously think they're doing a fun thing, but they subconsciously are actually, they agreed to do this for the game. Like, you have to defeat the game, and now that you've defeated the game, you have to
and that's
either
why
go...
phones have just become, like, a huge thing in this generation.
So...
And that's why, like, TVs were a huge thing.
And that's why adults are like, phones.
Yeah.
So,
they're, like, always on your phone, you know? But they created it.
Wait, no, I was about to say something I forgot.
Shoot.
Oh, I remember. So once you die and you've finished the game, you have to sign an agreement. Either you go back and redo it again, or you are finished with it and you have to sign an agreement that you have to leave clues for the next generation. So, like, once we've defeated the game, we're like, okay, now what? Okay, now you get your perfect life and your perfect memories, but also you have to leave clues for the next generation, and you're not going to know it. Like, you're going to invent the phone. You're not going to, you are given these specific skills and memories. And you'll think it's great, but really it's going to be a distraction for these people. Yeah. And they're going to have to relive it over and over, and they're like, okay, I don't want to have to redo the whole dang thing again, so I'm just going to sign the agreement, because they've had to live it over and over. They finally defeated it, so they will agree to literally anything. Yeah. What if somebody were to and that's why everything happens for a reason. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. Everything really does happen for a reason. Oh, I hate that. And so all these sayings you hear that, like, grown-ups say in, like, history books, they're all clues. They're all Easter eggs. Yeah. To how to finish it, because they want us to finish it. Or maybe we in our last time running this left a clue for our next life. So, like, because we're trying to, it's like, we're trying to defeat it. It's a glitch. We want to defeat it, so we are leaving clues for ourselves. And so that's why... Yeah, but we don't know we are. We don't know we are? Because it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to put my phone here so my next life can, like, I'm going to like, let's say I'm going to make a story because I'm creative and blah, 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 so I make a story, and then I leave it under my bed, right? Yeah. And then in my next life, I find that story in, like, a library, and I'm like, holy shit, like, this, and that's the clue. Oh, do you know what I mean? What if all of this dystopian fiction and, like, all of that is to teach us, and it's stuff that Black Mirror. It's stuff that we wrote in that life, but to teach ourselves about it in this life. It's the adults writing it. Because they're trying to give us the clues, but then we're also subconsciously leaving clues for ourselves, or like things that just don't make sense that are clues, and that like things that like coincidences like are really just like something that happened in your last life that's paralleling to this to give you a clue, like, oh, you and I happened to go to the grocery store at the same time, but that led to this, and that led to this great thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's because I don't know, because that didn't happen in your last life, everything got switched. So imagine how many times we've had to relive this life. And that's like the butterfly effect, you do one little thing that leads to one big thing. And we have to do everything right. If you don't get everything right, if you like choose one pie over the other, then that will lead to one thing. And so we have to do every single thing right. I hate this. So the world doesn't end. I hope we don't die now that we've said all this. I hope so too. We've been talking about this for almost 14 minutes. I feel like there's more. Creepy. Yeah, I feel like there's more to talk about. I feel like there's something with language, like with babies not being able to talk. Oh yeah, maybe you have to like get realigned with the system or something. Or like they remember still. Yeah. They're still remembering. Have you heard that thing about how when you die and you see a light, it's the hospital room, and you come out and you're crying because you still remember everything that happened to you? And so you don't, like, that's why babies can't talk yet, is because they're trying to, like, you're still forgetting everything. And that's why they cry so much. They're crying because they're forgetting it, and they're like, I don't want to have to live through this again. I don't want to have to live through this again. And that's why they're crying. You regret it every time. And you're like, I wish I just was done with this. But they're like crying because they have to redo it again. Yeah, and you have to get every single thing right, or it doesn't work. And then they start to forget it. Yeah. Or like people you've seen, you're like, I know them. Like, I've seen them before. Or dreams. What do dreams mean? Dreams. That's a whole
fucking can of worms. Dreams. What are dreams? That's
like my dream that I dreamed about Eden before I met him.
Yeah.
The night before I met him, because I knew I was gonna meet him the next day because I lived it before.
You lived it before, and
And
had to.
that's
you
why
had to meet him.
That's why you have dreams about things that are gonna happen, because you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Subconsciously.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, that's just like proof right there.
Yeah. Why do you think that we have dreams about like all this weird stuff? Like what are dreams? Like dreams that aren't about things that are
That's what happened in the last one. That's what went wrong. That's like what
it's clues for things that went wrong in the last one.
in the last one.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Oh my god, I have so many chills. So like last night you had a dream that you ran away and that led to this bad thing. Or last night I had a dream that I was in a school
And that's
shooting.
why it kept repeating. That's why dreams repeat themselves so often and you get caught in the same thing in your dream because
you're not learning.
You're trying to do it right. You're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And that it's a clue for what you have to do in this life.
Or it's gonna lead to that again.
Or it's going to lead to a bad thing again. So when you make a mistake in your dreams,
And so
it's telling you what you shouldn't do in this life.
your dreams are really just like you remembering what happened last one or the one before that.
Yeah.
And they can be absurd because life's absurd.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I feel like there's no way this can't be right. I mean, wrong.
I know. When we're thinking about it so much, it feels like it has to be right. Because every single thing that we're thinking about leads
Makes
back.
sense.
It makes sense.
What about dude,
What?
the Mandela effect? I'm about to cry.
Oh,
That's why we remember it, because we've lived it before and it was that way.
And it was that way that time that we lived it that first. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. We've already lived it before, B.
And it changed because that's how it's gonna, some weird like butterfly effect, that's how it's gonna change this one.
We changed it this time so that we could do better in this one.
Or again, they're all grown-ups who wrote those things. It's just
Yeah.
clues.
It's just clues.
So wait, do the grown-ups have to relive these lives too with us?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because we just have to go over them over and over. So what do they do?
Oh, I just had an idea. Okay. So when you die and you get the choice, and like when you beat the thing and you live to old age or whatever, and so you get, after you die and you okay, blah, blah, blah. You beat the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're dead. And you get the option of going to any time period you want. You get to go to any level of the game.
Uh-huh.
And you get to have your perfect life in that level of the game. It's like an Umbrella Academy, where you get to go live in any time period when you retire. It's so you get to live through that entire game and you don't have to do anything to help if you don't want to.
Ew, Nora, I just had a thought.
Uh-huh.
What if our parents in this life are just dead? They've been dead for a long time, but it's just like a stain. Like we are the only ones alive because we keep reliving it.
What if
they've only done it once?
What if when they die, they get to choose who they want their kids to be? Like we got chosen by them.
Yeah.
They wanted us. Because
So like our parents defeated the game and then they had us as kids and then they got to live through our lifetime once and while we're repeating it, they're still the same thing. So they're just like a stain while
or maybe we
keep
get
going.
different people every time, like different, like you get to live through the rest of your days in whatever time period you want with whatever kids you want if you want them, and then you then other people will be like, okay, yeah, I want to go live in this time period now with these kids.
I think you can do that only once you've defeated it.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I think that you only get to, once you defeat it, you only get to do that one time. You only get to live out the rest of your days one time. Because we're still people. We still have souls and human bodies.
So my mom could be me. After I'm done with this life, I could be like, I want to be my mom. I want to go back to this one life and...
Well, but if we're sticking with us still being humans, then we can't really go into another person's body. Like, we only get one chance. Like,
well, I was thinking that, like, they just keep
game.
living. Like, they don't get to go to a different time period. They just keep living. and then
okay.
they just keep living throughout the next
Your
one.
reward is that
you just keep
to
living
keep living
and forget about all the crappy stuff.
Yeah.
That's your reward.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So when you beat it, and then your reward is that you
get to remember all these happy things.
Yeah, you don't have to think about all the bad shit that you went through, and you can just live out the rest of your
And that's
days
what I'm
and get
saying.
old.
And then they die, right?
Yeah.
And then their kids keep reliving until they defeat the game. So really, my mom, what my mom's saying to me right now could have happened billions of years ago, but because I'm reliving it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, so your mom?
So my mom just defeated the game, okay? And then she gets to spend the rest of her life watching us defeat our game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she does that one time. But once we don't defeat the game, we have to keep reliving it and reliving it. But she doesn't have to, so hers is just like a picture while we keep coming in and out of it. So she could be, what happened with her could have happened billions of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get it now?
It's happened so many times, yeah. Like, we could have been doing this game for billions of years.
She's been dead for so long, but we've been reliving the game until we get it right.
Whoa, what are,
for billions of years.
Old souls? What do you think that is? Like, if you're an old soul...
We're just covering everything.
Yeah. And, like, remembering your past... We've been talking about this for 20 minutes.
Yeah, your past life. It's literally just the time you lived before.
Yeah, it's remembering.
Oh my God.
Memories. It's you get to forget about all the bad stuff.
Well, in a way, this is true in how we thought before we thought about this, because you just keep reliving a life, and then you and now that we keep reliving lives and getting more like better and better, we've gotten phones, we've gotten things, we've gotten everything that needs to be changed.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about
it.
earlier. We need to talk about that. Okay, so basically, if let's say that like the Black Plague was one of the games that they had to do, so they didn't have any technology, or I mean they didn't have all the modern medicine and stuff that we have now, so they defeated the game eventually, and so they just defeated it by the world didn't end. There were still people left, and so but after that, in the next game, you get more clues, you get more knowledge, you get more technology. And so in this one, we have a ton of technology, but we still have this huge issue of climate change that needs to be fixed.
And do our parents remember? I'm confused. So, like, we still remember the Black Plague. No one's forgotten about that.
Yeah.
So
we don't remember it, but it's a clue.
So did that actually happen?
I don't know.
Or is that just an example?
That's an example of if that was one of the games, then.
And each time there's just so many different
intricate.
Yeah, but our parents had their own thing, and our parents, the thing that they had to defeat was literally nothing we've ever heard of. It wasn't the Vietnam War. It wasn't anything.
Yeah.
It was something so
It was
outrageous.
something that we haven't even.
But
we don't even know about it.
It's the Vietnam War. That's their memory. That's their fake memory.
They're like, oh yeah, we got through the Vietnam War or whatever. But that's not actually the huge thing that they defeated.
That's their memory.
That's the memory of one thing. Like, the Vietnam War was a really terrible thing, but it wasn't going to cause the end of the world. World War II was a really terrible thing, but, like, there were going to be people that made it through.
So really, your whole life purpose is saving the world?
Yeah, your whole purpose.
So then...
is saving the world. Every single person's purpose. Bean, that's the meaning of life.
Oh,
it's saving the world. It's saving the world, and so it can keep going.
Wait. The meaning of life. We're both like trying to
wrap our heads around it. The meaning of life is saving the world.
And you have to redo it over and over.
So that's the meaning of life. The whole point.
And that's why you die afterwards, is because you've done it. You officially die.
The meaning of life is fixing everything so that you can die peacefully.
And my grandparents, holy shit, they've been through they're 2 generations away.
Yeah.
So they've forgotten about
their huge thing. They forgot about the other huge thing that happened.
Wait!
Yeah.
So my mom's fake memories actually happened in my grandma's life. Like, oh my God. So my grandma did her thing, right? And the rest of her perfect life was everything that was my mom's fake memories as well. So that's how memories combine. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
So, like, my grandma does her great thing, right? And then she has the rest of her life. And this is still the rest of her perfect life.
Yeah.
This is still, like, the end. Meanwhile, my mom did the exact same thing, and now this is the rest of hers. And so the rest of my grandma's perfect life includes what my mom's perfect fake memories were. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, my mom's 80s parties, my grandma lived through that, and that was a part of
That's one of her perfect memories, is you get to remember
and that's the end of her
perfect
life.
things that happened to your kids in their childhood.
Wait, so... And then my...
Well, that's only so that it will all line up for us, because we have to fix everything. Like, if your grandma was like, yeah, I don't remember what the fuck that was, then we wouldn't get that clue, because we'd be like, oh. If all the old people were like, yeah, nothing that happened to your parents ever actually happened, we'd be all like, okay, so we get it. This is a simulation. So it has to line up. Like, there can't be too many glitches, or we'll be like, okay, yeah, this is stupid. This isn't
But
real.
the fucking Abraham Lincoln one. And Kennedy? Come on. Like, what?
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
No way. That is the biggest clue.
Here,
and people
look it up right now and we'll read
people
it.
have ignored it. They've not talked about it, but that is the biggest clue. Everything lines up.
I know.
And that's right there is the biggest one, and no one talks about it. And we're like, oh, it's like you briefly think about it, it freaks you out, and then you never think about it again. Oh my god. Is that how you spell Lincoln? Oh my god, look at my lips. Like weird distractions like that.
Yeah. Like why do our bodies have to do that? That's so stupid. It's just
social
to distract
media.
us.
And it's all made by adults.
Yeah.
Because they are subconsciously making us distractions.
Yeah.
Does life want us to relive it as many times as we can? They want us to... Okay, there it is.
I'm going to read 13 weird coincidences between Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Kennedy was elected president in 1960. Lincoln's wife lost a child while living in the White House. Kennedy's wife lost a child while living in the White House. Lincoln was directly concerned with civil rights. Kennedy was directly concerned with civil rights. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who told him not to go to the theater. Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln who told him not to go to Dallas. Lincoln was shot in the back of the head in the presence of his wife. Kennedy was shot in the back of the head in the presence of his wife. Lincoln was shot in the Ford Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln made by Ford. Lincoln was shot on a Friday. Kennedy was shot on a Friday. The assassin, John Wilkes Booth, was known by 3 names comprised of 15 letters for Lincoln. And for Kennedy, the assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, was known by 3 names comprised of 15 letters. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and fled to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and fled to a theater. Booth was killed before being brought to trial. Oswald was killed before being brought to trial. There were theories that Booth was a part of a greater conspiracy for Lincoln, and there were theories that Oswald was part of a greater conspiracy for Kennedy. Lincoln's successor was Andrew Johnson, born in 1808, and Kennedy's successor was Lyndon Johnson, born in 1908. Isn't that so... It's so crazy.
So none of that actually happened, it's just a clue.
It's just a clue.
But what does the clue mean?
I don't know. It's to tell us that none of it is real, and then we have to beat it.
That none of it's real, and that it's happening over and over. That's the clue.
That's the clue.
Is that we've been reliving this shit over and over.
Yeah.
And then maybe the people who are, like, partying it up, like, this shit doesn't matter, it's just life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they are the people who tried the hardest, and they're like, they gave up.
They gave up. They're living their perfect life now.
No,
by
like...
not caring.
Like,
they want their perfect life early by leaving it to other people to deal with it.
Or because they tried so hard in their last one, and they gave up because it still wasn't the perfect one. It still didn't lead to the perfect ending, so they gave up. So in this next life, they're just throwing it all away on drugs and alcohol because they tried so hard in their last one.
Do you think maybe they regret it at the end, and then if they have to start over, then they try really hard again? If they won, maybe?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, you know your friends, like, you know they're good people. You know they're smart.
Yeah, we know so many. Most of the people.
It's because...
Whoa, okay. Most of the people that are super smart and could have really great futures are the ones that party really hard and they do all this crazy shit. And that's because they are the ones that can try hard. They're so smart that they can do all this good stuff for the world, but they're just wasting it this time because they
tried so hard and it didn't work.
It didn't work. Yeah.
30 minutes, Nora.
30 minutes. We have been talking about this for 30 minutes. Should we let it marinate for the night?
Yeah, but I feel like there's just so much more.
What else is there to talk about? Are we going to go back and watch this?
Something about food, I feel like.
Yeah.
Distraction?
Yeah, why do we need to eat? It's to make us think this is real and that we're, like, nourishing our bodies.
Exactly. It's making us feel.
Yeah,
That's what love is, too.
That's love. And it's a distraction!
It's all just to make us feel.
We think love is the meaning of life, but it's not. It's beating the game. Where everybody thinks, oh, if there is a meaning of life, then it's love.
Do you think our game in this is climate change?
Yeah, I think our game is climate change.
It obviously is.
Because that's the big thing that's going to end the... And so when we get to live out our perfect lives, then it's going to be like, oh, yeah, we fought this
conking war.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Yeah, there wasn't actually a war. It was just climate change that we had to beat, but our kids don't know about it.
And every single world is like, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened. Because in ours, this is the existential crisis. This is the thing that's never happened. This is the end of the world.
Yeah.
That's what it is in everyone. Oh my God, Nora.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the end of the world in ours, because, it is making sense, and it's making too much sense, and I want to cry because it's, like, real. Because that's why in our life, we have chosen to be in this one where the world is ending and we have to stop it, and that's what the fucking meaning of life is. Okay.
We need to go watch SpongeBob or something.
Yeah. Should this go on Goo-Ga?
I don't know.
I feel like people deserve to know the truth.
We have to put it in, like, 3 parts, though.
Are you sure?
It's 30 minutes long. Oh, my God. Like, 5 of our friends are gonna see it, though.
Like, 0 of our friends.
Yeah. Maybe we should put more stupid videos on Goo-Ga, and if it gets more popular, then we can put this video.
Okay, let's hope we have a billion. But that's a distraction. Should we even do that?
I don't know. Is everything a distraction? Maybe is it worthwhile to do some of these distracting things?
I mean, if we want to end up dying from the cause that other people are trying to beat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Should we spend all of our time doing that? Okay.
And that's why if we would drink in the next life, because someone else is not doing it, because teamwork is so valid. If we work hard, it still won't matter because someone else needs to work hard in order for it to really work. And that's why in our next life, we would become like something, like we would throw our lives away because we tried so hard in this life and it didn't work.
Yeah. Okay, let's come back to the world that we think we're living for a second. Making stupid videos, loving each other, doing that
Loving each other,
doing all that shit.
Getting Amy's donuts.
That shit is so fun.
Yes, love it.
I love it so much. And that is the meaning of life for like the life that we think we are living. So
oh my God. Ew, what are you...
I don't know. This lighting is kind of good.
It's weird. It's very orange. Back to our distractions.
Oh my God.
And God. Religion is a distraction.
God, that's something we were talking about earlier.
That's the biggest distraction.
Creepy. That is the big distraction. It's so, we have, that is
and in the Bible,
the meaning of life.
In the Bible, there are clues distracting us from what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Evolution isn't real. God just made light, and that's why some people don't believe in global warming. Mm-hmm. Because it's a distraction.
It's a distraction to try to get us to not fix it.
Why do they want us to not fix it? Is it funny?
I don't know. It's because it's a game. It's literally a game.
But who's on the other side of it?
I don't know. I don't even want to think about that part.
That freaks me out.
What is it? What if it's us? What if we're just...
What if it's our parents?
Our parents, yeah.
Like...
Who could it be? What could it be? What if all of the... Okay, this is gonna sound super far-fetched and stupid. What if every animal is, like, watching us do this?
When I
That's why
saw
they can't
Appa
talk.
earlier, when we came inside, I was like, he knows.
He knows. They all know.
What if we're gonna be an animal to shut up? They can't talk. They're like prisoners.
The people that win the game are the ones... The people that, like, are the ones
Figure
that
it out.
Figure it out.
End up being
They have to
animals
be
because they
animals
have
the
to
next
shut
time
up.
around. They have to shut up.
Oh my god, I'm never gonna have to look. I can't look at my dog again being like, looking at me like that.
Yeah.
Because they know.
The ones that fit. So in our next lives, if this is all real, all this stuff we're talking about is real,
we're gonna be the animals because
we're
we
gonna
figured
be
it out.
animals because we figured it out. Like, we have to shut up in the next life because we can't tell anyone because they have to try to make it through the game. We need to go, Bean. We need to stop thinking about this for a little while. We've talked about so much.
I'm really scared now. Let's call Zoe again.
Okay.
Bye.